In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best Air Miles credit cards in Singapore using a tier list where S and A are the highest. If they're in this bracket, they're great credit cards and it's worth going out of your way to get them versus everything else, which really isn't worth your time. I'm going to start off with one of the most popular online spending cards out there, and that is the DBS Women's World Mastercard. Now, this card gives you 4 miles per dollar on up to $1,000 of online spending per calendar month. However, it does come in the form of DBS points, so you have to convert your DBS points into Krisflyer miles or Asia miles. Now, do remember that there are two versions of this card. There is the DBS Women's card, and then there is the DBS Women's World Mastercard, and you're going to want to apply for the latter, as the former only gives you 2 miles per dollar of online spending. I shouldn't need to say this again, but in case anyone isn't aware, you do not need to be a woman to get this card. You can be either a man or a woman and get the DBS Women's World Mastercard. In terms of the minimum income required, DBS officially says it's $80,000 per year, but there is plenty of anecdotal evidence out there suggesting that people have had their applications approved on incomes that are far below $80,000. So I wouldn't get too caught up on that requirement. Given there's no minimum spending requirement for this card and how much we actually spend online nowadays, I'm going to put the DBS Women's World Mastercard solidly in the S category. All right, so next up is the UOB PRVI Miles card. And this card comes in 3 forms. It can be in the Visa, it can be in the Mastercard, and it can also be in the American Express. However, what's important to note here is that this credit card gives you 1.4 miles per dollar on an uncapped basis. So say you spend $500, you'll get 1.4 miles per dollar. And if you spend $10,000, you'll still get 1.4 miles per dollar. Additionally, you can actually earn 2.4 miles per dollar on your overseas spending. However, given the 3.25 or 3.5% credit card charge on overseas spending, you're effectively paying for miles. There is also the added benefit if you do decide to spend on overseas spending that you can actually get 3 miles per dollar on 4 countries' currency spend. So this includes the Thai baht, the Indonesian rupiah, the Vietnamese dong, and the Malaysian ringgit. One thing to remember about the UOB PRVI Miles card is that you're awarded miles in $5 blocks. So whether you spend $5 or $9.99, you're still gonna get the same amount of miles. So the UOB PRVI Miles card for me is a solid all-round general spending card with a 1.4 mile per dollar rate that is uncapped. So this can be pretty useful if you have big ticket spending items that you need to spend on in Singapore dollars. However, we do know that the minimum we should be aiming for in the miles accrual game is basically 4 miles per dollar on our spend. So in that sense, I'm going to put the UOB PRVI Miles card in the B category. Okay, next up is a relatively newer entrant to the miles scene, and that is the Maybank XL Rewards card. Now, this comes in the Mastercard version, and you can earn up to 4 miles per dollar on all foreign currency spending up to $1,000 of spend per calendar month. And you can also earn 4 miles per dollar, again, up to $1,000 per calendar month on Singapore dollar spend, but only in specific categories, including shopping, dining, travel, and entertainment. Now, the one thing about the XL Rewards card is that you do need to meet a minimum spend of $500 per calendar month. So if you stick between $500 and $1,000 of spend per calendar month, then you'll be able to earn 4 miles per dollar. Remember, if you spend under $500 per calendar month, you will only earn 0.4 miles per dollar on any of those spends that I had outlined earlier. One good thing about the Maybank XL Rewards card is that you can actually pair it with the Instant Amaze card, so you can turn your offline spending into online spending. But remember, if you're overseas and you do that, then your spend is actually going to get converted into Singapore dollar spend. So it will have to fall into one of those 4 buckets that I had mentioned earlier. So the Maybank XL Rewards credit card is a pretty solid option for those looking to use a credit card in a more cost-efficient manner overseas by pairing it with the Instant Amaze card, or for those looking to direct some of their travel, entertainment, dining, etc. spend in Singapore dollars. However, it does have a pretty weird requirement of you being under 40 years old to be able to actually get the credit card itself. So for that reason, and for its $500 minimum, I'm going to put it solidly in the A category, but not in the top category. Okay, so next up is the UOB Visa Signature credit card. Now, this is a really solid option for those of us that spend a lot in person. So that means tapping your phone, tapping your physical card at the actual merchant's terminal. And this allows you to actually earn 4 miles per dollar on up to $1,200 per statement month on contactless transactions. Now, remember, this actually used to be $2,000 per statement month, but it got nerfed into two subcaps. So what you have now is you have $1,200 cap for contactless transactions at 4 miles per dollar, and you have a $1,200 per statement month cap on overseas spending or overseas FX transactions. One thing to note about the UOB Visa Signature credit card is that there is a minimum spend per statement month of $1,000. So if you keep between $1,000 and $1,200, you're going to be maximizing that 4 mile per dollar earn rate. As of the 1st of July 2025 as well, you can actually use your UOB Visa Signature for Simply Go rides, and that's going to earn you 4 miles per dollar as well. Given how much the UOB Visa Signature is a staple of many miles chasers, I'm going to put this card solidly in the S category. The only downside to the card is that it has a minimum spend per statement month, but if you can hit that, then this is a great option for contactless spending. Okay, so next up is the Citi Rewards Mastercard, and this is one of the best online spending cards out there in Singapore, as it gives you 4 miles per dollar on pretty much all your online spending. However, there are two important exceptions to note. The first one is that you will not earn 4 miles per dollar on any travel-related spend. So that is things such as booking flights, booking online hotels, paying for things such as Airbnb, or using Klook or Agoda to book things. You will not earn 4 miles per dollar. Instead, you will earn just 0.4 miles per dollar. The second exception is actually in-app payments using either Apple Pay or Google Pay. If you use the Citi Rewards card for in-app payments using those wallets, you will not earn 4 miles per dollar, and you will instead just earn 0.4 miles per dollar. However, one of the good things about this credit card is that you can actually pair it with the Insturm Amaze card, so you can turn your offline spending into online spending, and that's especially important when you're overseas. So it is a pretty useful card to have when you are traveling, but you do have to remember not to use it to spend on anything such as hotels or anything travel related. So as a solid online spending option with no minimum spend required, I'm going to put the Citi Rewards card solidly in the A category. For me, it doesn't get to be in the S category, mainly down to the fact that there are a couple of exceptions to the online spending rule. Okay, so next up is the UOB Preferred Platinum Visa card. Now, this is a really solid card for mobile contactless transactions. It gives you 4 miles per dollar on up to $600 per calendar month of contactless transaction spend. While this monthly cap used to be over $1,100, it has actually been brought down in recent months to just $600. And there is an additional $600 4 mile per dollar cap for selected online transactions, but this is only applicable to things like Amazon, Shopee, Lazada, and online food delivery. One thing to note about the UOB Preferred Platinum Visa is that you can actually only earn miles in $5 blocks, just like the UOB PRVI Miles card. So this is a disadvantage compared to, say, the UOB Visa Signature credit card, where they pool all your excess spend and then times that by 9 to get your actual bonus miles the following calendar month. So for this is actually awarded to you immediately, or your uni dollars is rewarded to you immediately, whereas the UOB Visa Signature is pooled. So in that sense, the $5 blocks matter much more with the UOB Preferred Platinum Visa and the UOB PRVI Miles card than it does for the UOB Visa Signature. One final thing to be aware of for the UOB Preferred Platinum Visa is that you actually have to tap it with your phone. So that can be either through Apple Pay or Google Pay. If you tap the actual physical card, you won't earn the 4 mile per dollar rate, and instead you will just get 0.4 miles per dollar. So in total, I think that the UOB Preferred Platinum Visa is a really solid mobile contactless transaction option for those who maybe go over the UOB Visa Signature threshold. So I'm going to put the UOB Preferred Platinum Visa in the A category. Next is a DBS Yuu card, and this comes in two versions. It comes in the Visa version. It also comes in the American Express version. Now, this card can actually give you up to 18% cashback or cash rebate, or a 10 mile per dollar earn rate, which is pretty amazing. But that does come with one big caveat. You have to spend all of the $800 per calendar month, which is the minimum, at Yuu merchants. Now, what are the U merchants? Well, it's a relatively limited number of merchants, including 7-Eleven, Cold Storage, Guardian, Food Panda, Giant, Gojek. There's also Singtel, and you can actually now use it for Simply Go. So if you can actually meet the $800 minimum spend to earn the 10 mile per dollar or 18% cash rebate rate, then this is definitely a card worth considering. Do note that the DBS Yuu card recently raised the minimum spend to earn that rate from $600 per calendar month to $800 per calendar month. And they've also added an extra requirement. You have to spend at a minimum of 4 U merchants per calendar month, whereas previously it didn't matter how many U merchants you spent at. So the DBS Yuu card is one of the best miles earning cards out there, but you do have to spend at the selected merchants involved. So this is actually rather specific on your own spending patterns. But me personally, I'm able to use the $800 minimum and able to hit that rather. So for me, I'm going to put the DBS Yuu card solidly in the S category. Okay, so next up is another DBS credit card, and it is the DBS Altitude. And this comes in two versions. This comes in the Visa, and it also comes in the American Express. And what it gives you is 1.3 miles per dollar on all Singapore dollar spend, and it gives you 2.2 miles per dollar on all overseas spend. Beyond that, there's not really much else to know. It's pretty standard. It's a good general spending card, and you do earn DBS points or things that you can turn into Krisflyer miles that never expire. So that's a positive thing about this card. There is also one other positive to this card in that you can actually apply for the Krisflyer auto conversion program, where they will pool all your points across DBS cards, bar obviously the DBS Yuu card, and they will convert your DBS points every quarter into Krisflyer miles for you. And this is for a one-time annual fee. So if you have the DBS Women's World Mastercard, it's pretty useful to apply to this program. However, on the whole, the DBS Altitude card is basically for general spending. It's never going to really turbocharge your miles earning capability, and it doesn't even earn as much as the UOB PRVI Miles general spending card. So for that reason, I'm going to put the DBS Altitude in the C category. Okay, so next up we have the American Express co-branded credit card with Singapore Airlines, also known as the American Express Krisflyer credit card. And this is the base level version. So this is the blue branded credit card. And what it gives you is it gives you 1.1 miles per dollar on all your spending. And it does also say that you can get 2 miles per dollar on any spend on Singapore Airlines or Scoot, as well as Grab, up to $200 per calendar month. Now that headline rate is as exciting as it gets, and it's really nothing to get too jazzed about. So for me, even though you can actually get the miles credited directly to your Krisflyer account every month for free, this is really a credit card that no one who is serious about earning miles should be getting. So I'm going to put it solidly in the D category. Okay, and so finally we have the UOB Ladies card, or the UOB Ladies Solitaire card, and this comes in the Mastercard version, but there are two forms of it. There is the UOB Ladies card and the UOB Ladies Solitaire card, and it can give you up to 4 miles per dollar on spend in specific bonus categories. So for example, there are things like dining, there is things like groceries, which comes under family, as well as travel or transportation. Okay, so the main difference between the two cards is that the ladies card, which is the base card, gives you one bonus category on, and it gives you up to $1,000 of 4 mile per dollar spend on that one bonus category per calendar month. Whereas the UOB Lady Solitaire card gives you a $1,500 4 mile per dollar cap on two bonus categories. But that cap is split into two $750 caps. So instead of being able to spend whatever you want on one bonus category, you actually have caps on both of those. So say you spend $800 on the UOB Lady Solitaire in one of your bonus categories, that extra $50 won't earn 4 miles per dollar. So actually, it might be easier for most people to just get the UOB Ladies card and not have to deal with the headache of two subcaps. If you do have a UOB Ladies savings account, you can actually earn an extra 2 miles per dollar on your spend if you just whack $10,000 into it. However, depositing anything more than that really isn't worth your time or your money. So while the UOB Ladies and the Lady Solitaire card is a solid option, it isn't really something that I feel is completely necessary unless you're willing to put in the time to work out what you're spending on where and which channels. So for that reason, I'm going to put the UOB Ladies and Lady Solitaire card in the B category. Now, I have left out some cards in this ranking, and that's mainly due to the fact that I feel they are one-off cards, things like the HSBC Revolution or the OCBC Rewards card. And that's because they don't really pool their points or their miles with other bank cards that are actually worth getting. So for cards like UOB and DBS, they allow you to pool your points. Citi doesn't, but there are some pretty solid Citi rewards cards out there. Maybank does allow you to actually pool your points with other Maybank cards, like the Maybank World Mastercard, for example. So that is one big advantage to some of these banks, is the ability to actually pool your miles together so you can redeem in just one go. So there you have it. Those are my top Singapore Air Miles credit cards by ranking. If you want more content like this, then don't forget to hit like and also subscribe.